Welcome back, guys. It's been a while. Yes, I've not actually been online making any videos lately because unfortunately I've had a lot going on, and also I managed to catch COVID while I was at a gig in Birmingham, so that wasn't great, but fully recovered now, well, pretty much, and ready to start making some content again. So apologies that I've been away for quite some time, although I have been doing a few bits and pieces to the Range Rover whilst I've been away. Now, one of the main things I've done, which was becoming a bit of a problem, particularly since I fitted the dash cam and the rear dash cam, because they seem to take up quite a bit of power, especially when they're in the mode where they record if the car vibrates or moves when it's off. Now obviously what that tends to do, because I live in quite a busy road, is each time a car goes past it'll start recording, and that actually drains the battery. And because I don't obviously always drive the car every day, then over a few days that was flattening the battery, and then I'd press the starter switch and all I get was a click, which sounded very much like a starter motor fault. For a while I thought it was a starter motor fault, but then realised I could always somehow start it by jump starting it or just being persistent, and eventually it would start. So with that in mind, I went online and looked up a chap called Luke of Luxury Range Rover Upgrades, who does a kit for an auxiliary battery which fits under the boot, sort of in the little cubby store to the right of the boot when you open it. It sits under the floor so it doesn't take up any room in the boot, and then it just connects into the fuse box next to it. And the way that it works is that it charges whilst you're driving the vehicle. That battery will charge, so it's like having an additional battery in the car, which charges when you drive, and when you turn the vehicle off it actually cuts the power to that battery. So any drain that's going on when the vehicle's turned off is only happening to the main battery on the Range Rover. So even if that battery went completely flat, the second I press the start ignition button again, it then brings in the auxiliary battery in the boot, which will start the vehicle. So in theory, even if you've got a flat battery, you can always start the car, which is great. And actually, since I've installed it, I've not had that starting problem at all. And I've actually got a friend who's got a similar problem, and the AA came out and they told him they thought it might be the starter or it might be the battery, and I've just told him to order this kit as well and fit it, and it'll be interesting to see if it solves his problem too, because it's definitely solved mine. So if you are having an issue where when you press the start button you just get a loud click from the starter motor, it's because there's not enough power going to it because your battery's low. I'd say 9 times out of 10 probably. So fingers crossed that's all cured now, which is great. The other issue I managed to sort out in the last few weeks, I mentioned in a previous video that one of the few things that didn't work on the car, there weren't many, although that needed doing, was the rear wash wipe. Although the wiper works, I've never got the wash to come through. So I guessed it was probably a blocked jet, and I was getting all sorts of horror stories from people saying, oh no, you'll never fix that, you can't get parts for that anymore. And actually it's part of the wiper, that washer jet. So actually, worst case scenario, you'd have to replace the whole wiper arm with a jet, and I think you can, well, I'm almost certain you can still get that, but it's probably very expensive. But there was no need, because I literally took it upon myself to clean the thing out. So first case scenario, there's a couple of holes on the outside which I did the usual thing, poked a pin through and cleaned those, and then it seems there's a little chamber inside which gets dirty. So what I did was I took the hose off from the inside where the water actually comes through, put another piece of hose in and blew through it, and kept blowing through it, and kept poking it with a pin, and eventually I got some crap to come out. And what that's done, that's now cleared the jet, and fantastically now the rear wash wipe now works, which is great. It hadn't worked since I bought the car, and it was one of the little niggly things that frustrates me, because I like my car to work as it should, and that's great, because that was one of the things. And one of the other things that was really niggling me was my start-stop button. I don't know if any of you guys have had this, but it's quite common whereby over time when you're pushing and stopping and starting that button, the outer bit of the start-stop button gets very weak, and eventually your finger goes right through it, so you have a hole in it. Doesn't stop it working, but it didn't look very nice. So I ordered a brand new start-stop button, and I've installed that, and again, great, love it. The car is back how it should be. The other thing I've also done, which was featured in my last video, was I've installed the CarPlay screen, the 8.8 inch CarPlay screen, which I absolutely love. It's brilliant, and it's really sort of brought this car kicking and screaming into the current year, making it really as good as any new car now, because now I've got Apple Play in a Range Rover L322, which was produced in 2011, and it's such a superb car anyway. So with everything working, and now the addition of Apple CarPlay, I think I've pretty much got the perfect car, without, unless you're going to go out and spend 60 to 70 grand and buy a new Range Rover, or 30 odd grand, 35, to buy a decent second-hand Range Rover, or a Mercedes E-Class. I don't think there's anything that can touch this now. So really pleased with the results of that. Just wanted to bring it out on a little run today, just to sort of update you, and hopefully get a few shots of it. I'm going to take it to Exmoor today and try and get a few shots of it, just doing something a bit different rather than just driving along the road, which is what I normally do, and just to show that this car is very versatile.